Hey everyone, welcome to the AFL Premiership YouTube channel. So if you didn't know, we are on Instagram, so if you want to check that out, link will be in the description. We basically just post AFL related content on there, like quizzes, just stats in general. Then we also have a SuperCoach page just called SuperCoach Premiership, just look that up. And yeah, you'll see us on there. So the team picker came out about a month ago. I wasn't sure whether I was going to make a video on it or when I was going to make a video on it, but I decided that now would be a good time because it's been out for the public now, so you don't have to pay $25, however much it was to get it in the first place. So yeah, let's just jump straight into my team. So at D1, we've got Jake Lloyd. I think that's a pretty self-explanatory pick. I think that Jake Lloyd, without Jordan Dawson, I think it'll make too much of a difference for him. But I just think that the way that he can seagull off half back just makes him one of the most valuable and safe picks in SuperCoach. Nothing unpredictable about him. He'll get you between 100 and 120 every single game. No doubt about that. So I think that at D1, Jake Lloyd should be a safe pick for pretty much everyone. At D2, we have Aaron Hall, who another really safe one, really broke out in 2021. And we'll look to do the same thing this year. He is said to have the same role as he did last year, which means hopefully similar scoring. Zeebel's getting a bit older, and he was really overachieving, I think, last season. So I think Aaron Hall is a really safe option as well, which is why I've got them both at D1 and 2. They're both under 500 and they're both over 570k but under 590, which is a very, very good option for guys at their level. So at D3, I've got Jordan Ridley. I was kind of weighing up between Ridley and then also Jaden Short. So I think with Jordan Ridley, just last year, what he was doing, he was playing on talls and smalls. He wasn't just purely running the kickouts. But I think that, again, I don't really want to go outlandish. That's why I don't have Lockie Whitfield on this team. I want to keep it relatively safe for now. Just because, I'm not trying to win it. I'm just trying to, play with guys I like. And I don't really want Jaden Short as much. He was kind of annoying for me last year. Although when Basher Hawley didn't play, Jaden Short's average was up by like a good 10-15. So Short could be a good option as well. But right now in my team, I've got Jordan Ridley. The next three guys, Josh Sin, Campbell Chesser, and Lee Kalia, are three of the top rookies in SuperCoach for defenders, I think. Other ones, Wilmot and a couple other guys. But I've picked these three. Josh Sin, I'm not too sure about, just because Port Adelaide's side is just really difficult to break into. But I've got him at D4, but they're really interchangeable. Campbell Chesser really impressed in one of his practice in the practice match for the Eagles, which is why he's in my team. But that could be subject to change depending on which rookies are set to play early in the year. Come end of February, early March, like that sort of time. The last guy is Lee Kalia. Lee Kalia's a really safe pick. He should be in the team really early. Like that's almost definite. The only downside with Lee Kalia is that he doesn't really get the ball like a lot. He'll probably only score 50, 55 for you on an average, but that should at least get him to at least 250, 260k. If you can do that, I think it's a safe option, which is why I've got Lee Kalia. So the next two, Garrett McDonough and then Cooper Dean. Both of these two I don't know too much about. I know Cooper Dean is a mature age rookie, which is why he is in my team. And McDonough, I've seen a lot of other people put him in their teams, so I've got him at D7. I hope that he plays early. I'm not too sure, but he's a safe pick, and I'm pretty tight on money right now as I went for 5 premium midfielders, as you can see in my next bit. So that's why I've got Dean here at D8 and McDonough at D7. So yeah, now in the midfield, I've gone with 5 primos, as you can see. Those 5 are McRae, Steele, Touk Miller, Tom Mitchell, and Lockie Neal. So I was early in the team picker when it first came out. I wasn't sure whether I wanted Jack McRae, as he is making about 700k. I ended up going with him, as you can see on the screen, just because of the reliability of Jackson McRae. You know what you're going to get from him. He's going to get around 115 to 140 on any given day, and he's going to average hopefully around 120, 130. Jack Steele, just a workhorse. He does everything for the Saints. He lays tackles, he kicks goals, he accumulates the footy. He just does everything. And Jack Steele, he's my Brownlow pick right now. I love Jack Steele. I've got those two on my team. And then the third one, who I was kind of weighing up on, earlier I had, an extra guy in the forward line or an extra guy in the back line, and I didn't have Tuke Miller on the team. I ended up going with him just because when I watched him, he would just run up and down the field. He would not stop, contest to contest. He was just absolute workhorse, which is why I don't think his stats are going to drop by much, if at all. They might even increase just because his work ethic is just unmatched, and he will just run all game. The next guy is Tom Mitchell. So Tom Mitchell, Sam Walsh, they're two guys who you could go with at D4 or D3 at M4 or M3, but I ended up going with Tom Mitchell over Sam Walsh just because, again, as I've said a lot of times, it's just reliability. I know I can count on Tom Mitchell to get those numbers, you don't really see Tom Mitchell, I guess, drop below a 90 on any given day, which I know, that's the sort of thing I'm looking for in this team, and I think that Mitchell's low is a lot higher than what Walsh's could possibly be, and yet their highs are about the same, which is why I've gone with Tom Mitchell. The next guy is Lachie Neale. Lachie Neale just had a really bad year because of injuries and just in general, but 543k is an absolute steal. I don't even care. If you don't have Lachie Neale in your team, then you have to get him in because he is just too good of a player to be at only 540k. So now we get into the more rookie picks. Here, Jason Horne-Francis, I was kind of weighing up either him or Finn McRae. It was one of those two, but I'd prefer to go with Horne-Francis just because I've already got so many Collingwood guys in. I feel like Horne-Francis almost has more of a chance of playing than Finn McRae. I tried to fit both of them in. I just didn't have the money. As you can see, I've got a 102k player, so it's just not something I wanted to do, which is why I've put in Horne-Francis over Finn McRae. The next guy is Nick Dacos. If you don't have Nick Dacos in your team, get him in your team. He just got so much of the footy last year in his high school season, whatever you want to call it. So you have to have Nick Dacos in your team. If you don't, get him in. Same thing as Lachie Neale. Get them both in. Next guy is Neil Erasmus. I've got him in my team because I fancy him as one of the top rookies in this class. Erasmus, he's a tall sort of big body ball winner. He's a midfielder. He just accumulates the ball. I really like him. I could have gone with a lower priced rookie if I wanted to, but I really rate Erasmus, which is why I've got him in my team. The next guy is Reece McGuinness. Collingwood should be playing their rookies early in the year, so if they're going to play their youth, then I think Reece McGuinness is a very safe pick because he should be getting games. They should be playing him. Greg Clark, he's a more mature age rookie. He also, along with Chesser for the Eagles, they both really impressed in the preseason, in their practice matches, which is why I've decided to put Greg Clark in the team. He looks like he could be playing really early, and if he does, then he could make you some money. The next guy is Bodie Ueland. He also, most of these rookies, the reason I picked them is if they play well in the practice matches and in the preseason games. Bodie Ueland, he looked pretty good. And I was really short on money. So I would have gone with the 120, 117 guy if I could have. I would have gone with a Josh Goda, someone like that, and Mead, whoever. But with only 103 or something K, the only person that I could really take was Bodie Ueland. Another thing I could do was move Finn McGuinness into the midfield, and then someone like a Charlie Parker, I think his name is. But yeah, inevitably I decided to go with Bodie Ueland. I feel like he has more chance to play than Parker, even though the Bulldogs are known to be a team that plays pretty much their entire roster. Now moving into my rucks, I really tried to play around with this, throw in someone like a Rowan Marshall you could get at DPP in round 6 or maybe round 12. Another one was Max Gorn, as he could rest forward and then get DPP. I didn't really know. But, after just putting as many players as I could, I even had Bruce in there for a little bit. But you just have to play it safe, I think. So I went with Darcy and Grundy. The two best rocks. You have to put Grundy in, even though he had a down year. Darcy, I'm not too excited about having Darcy in my team, but they're just both guys who should be getting really high scores every week. You just got to put him in there just for safety. You don't want to miss out on Sean Darcy getting 140s every game. It's just too high of a risk because you can't really, get back up into that 640 plus K where Darcy will be at, maybe even higher. If you pick someone like a Bruce or someone like a Rowan Marshall, it's still just not money that you want to have to make up to get back into that top 1% of players. So that's the same thing with Grundy. Now for my R3, I've got Dominic Aquay, I think that's how you say his name. I'll know. He could play. I'm not too sure. I think he's more of a mature age, but again, I don't know too much about him. I just see a lot of guys either having him, Comben, or Hayes in their team. And I ended up going with him just because, again, I was short on money. I really tried to get that 5th premium midfielder, which you can see. I could have gone. I was thinking of going with a Caleb Sarong in the midfield, but I just couldn't. I couldn't put Sarong in the midfield just because I really wanted that Tuke Miller, that definite 110 sort of player, which means I couldn't splurge on some of the better rookies. But I think that'll work out. We'll just see what happens closer to the season, which rookies are going to play, and if you need to have that 5th premium, or you can pick more of a mid-pricer. We'll just see what happens. So now into the final group, which is the forward line. Starting off, we've got Josh Dunkley. Josh Dunkley is, when he was playing rounds 1 to 6, he was averaging consistent 130s, every single game. And I think that if he gets that same opportunity again, he will just do the same thing. I really hope so. If you again, same thing as with the Rocks, you don't want to miss out on Josh Dunkley. You could go with a cheaper option, get two cheaper options, but I just thought you have to go with Josh Dunkley. You don't want to miss out, so I picked him at F1. At F2, I went with Zach Butters. This was a toss-up. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to go with a Cam Rayner or a Jade Gresham or a Willie Rioli, something like that. I didn't know. I ended up going with Butters because another one was a Tim Taranto if you wanted to pay up for that. But what I inevitably thought was that Zach Butters could put up a similar score to Tim Taranto anyway. He should go up a lot in price, maybe to hopefully to 550, maybe 600. That'd be ideal. If he gets to 600, you sell him. But right now he's going to be a set and forget guy. I'm thinking I'm going to keep him in my team. And then the next guy, Stephen Canelio, he has to be in everyone's team. If he's not in 80-90% of teams, then something is wrong. Canelio, he is just, I think right now he's 60. I'll check right here. I'm pretty sure he's 70% rostered almost. Is 62% ownership for Stephen Canelio. So that's just too much to pass up on. So I've got Stephen Canelio on my team. If you don't get him in your team, we all know what he can do, what he's capable of doing. He could get up to nearly 500k. Don't expect him to average more than 100, but even that 90 range, that's still a huge increase in price. The next guy is Charlie Curnow. So I've got Charlie Curnow and Will Brodie. The other guy was Willie Rioli, who I was thinking about. I was thinking about getting 2 of those 3 in. I ended up going with Curnow and Brodie. I just think that Charlie Curnow, he could have that big boom game, and then his price is really high, and then you just trade him. I think that his ceiling is better than Willie Rioli's. Same with Will Brodie. He only played about 5 games or so last year. I think that he could have a big year. Could get up to about 90 average, maybe even 100. I hope. I'm not too sure, but that'd be nice. The next guy is Elijah Hollins. So Elijah Holland's only 123k, absolute steal. The Gold Coast Suns would be stupid not to play him in their team. You just have to have Elijah Holland in. My next guy is Finn McGuinness. You could swap McGuinness or Holland. I have a really strong forward line because I feel like that's meant to be the weakest line. So I made sure that I got a lot of good, I guess, low mid prices in Canelio, Curnow, Brody, and then Finn McGuinness and Hollands, and then the next guy, DeConning. Just because it's a weaker line, I wanted to get in the best guys possible. I don't want to have a weak line on any line. So I just really tried to maximize my forward line as best as I could. I've got Finn McGuinness. The Hawks should play him early. They should play him round 1, especially because I don't think Hawthorn's trying to compete for a flag or even a final spot this year. So I think that having Finn McGuinness on your team is a smart pick because he could play early, and it's actually a pretty high probability that he will play early. And then the last guy I've got is Sam DeConning. Sam DeConning, I'm pretty sure that he could play early. But Geelong's side is pretty hard to crack into, but if he can, then he's a really reliable option. I'm not sure where he's playing. I don't know too much about DeConning. But yeah, I've got him in my team, and yeah, so that pretty much wraps up my team. Just looking through it, one thing that I was thinking of doing was changing Jordan Ridley here. Just go to average points. And then going and picking up Jaden Short. So I was thinking of going like that and then having Lloyd, Hall, and Short as the 3, just because, I haven't really taken too many risks in this team, and I feel like if I have Jaden Short in the team, that, that could be a high risk, high reward situation. Like last year, Short did give me a little bit of a headache because he'd just be pretty inconsistent. He'd be getting 70s some games. It was just annoying having Short, but with no Basher Hooley, I could really see him jumping up to be maybe the top defender by the end of the year. So that right there is something I'm thinking about. I'm going to keep Ridley in there right now. Another thing I'm not sure about is this thing with Tuke Miller. If I dropped Tuke Miller down, I could go something like this. I'm really high on Sarong. He's another guy. So if I put Sarong in here, then that gives me 228k. And then if you're not, just for example, not high on Charlie Curnow, you could go with a Cam Rayner, who is also a very good player. You have 173k still, and then you can use that to upgrade whoever you want. So that's just an idea. You can, you don't have to have a 102 rookie, so you could have someone like a Hayes or someone like a Combin. I think I'd prefer to go with Combin. So you could run something like that, and then you have 152k. You just spend that. You could get a Josh Ward, a Josh Rochelle, something like that. You could upgrade Ridley to even a Jordan Dawson. But yeah, I am not going to do that. I'm going to go back. Hopefully that doesn't do that trade. So yeah, I'm just back to how I was before. But there's plenty of things you can do. If you don't want to have 5 premium midfielders, you want to get like a 4th premium defender, or a 3rd or a 2nd, however many you want, premium forward, that could be another option. I'm pretty confident right now I'm going to keep the 5 premiums, and if I drop down Miller, it could be to like a Josh Ward, maybe a Ben Hobbs, maybe someone like that. But right now, I'm pretty happy with Tuke Miller, just because the defensive line is very strong. I think in terms of rookies, I think that there's five really good rookies. So you could have, and then also we already know how stacked the back line is just in terms of premiums. You have about 10 players who do pretty much the exact same thing, and you just wait for a player to have a down 2-3 games. You pick them up for cheaps, and then that's how you upgrade your defenders. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. That about wraps up the team. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, both at SuperCoach Premiership or AFL Premiership. Link will be in the description. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.